Welcome back to Unknown and Talented. My name is Jelan Abrams, and today we're going to talk about communication. This is a motivational podcast, but I think what's very important is to be able to talk to people, especially in person. A lot of times we're so good on being attached to our phones, texting, and talking that way, but that face-to-face interaction is kind of lost. So today I actually have an expert in the field of communication, my aunt, Auntie Dee. How you doing, Auntie?
Hi, Lon.
How you doing? You didn't answer my question.
I'm doing well, thank you. How
Okay,
are you?
good. I'm doing great. I'm doing great. How's it feel to be in front of a camera and a mic? And
It's a little weird, but I'm dealing.
okay. What's weird about it?
It's just different.
Okay.
This is not my usual platform.
hmm
And it's a little daunting.
Well, by the end of this podcast, you're gonna be an expert at this. Okay. So today we're talking about communication. What is communication to you?
Communication is the act of listening, the act of being able to express yourself where everyone reaches a mutual understanding.
Okay, got it. I'm actually gonna find the definition
Go for it.
because I'm not an expert like you, so I ain't gonna be able to give a good communication. All right. Communication. It's a noun, guys. Got to make sure you let people don't know this stuff anymore. Uh, communication, the noun, the impact. Oh, wow. The imparting of or exchange of information or news. So the reason why I brought you on today is because there was this person that I follow on TikTok. TikTok, yes. So she's actually working on building her business up,
Mm-hmm.
and she's working on having to be able to go out in the world and talk to people. So she does a great job of posting content on TikTok. But when she actually goes out in the world, she has a very hard time of communicating. And I think a lot of people have that hard time as well. So from your experience, how have you become a great communicator?
Become.
Listen, guys, my aunt, she does not play about grammar. She does not play about grammar. I don't know why she wants to embarrass me in front of all my friends.
I'm sorry, but no, I'm not sorry.
Okay,
It's because
well, let's get there first. Why are you so? Why do you think grammar is so important? Like every time I mess up, you make sure to correct me.
I think it's important to, present yourself at the best.
Okay.
I love the English language. I really, really do. Like I'm a wordsmith. I love just being able to communicate and do it in different ways. So I believe that we should do it at its highest point. And for that reason, yes, I'm big on grammar. I'm not saying that I can't throw an ain't or anything in there, but I'm
Yeah.
just saying
Yeah.
yeah, it's important to me. And
hmm
plus you're on a platform and you're speaking to people and people should know that you know how to speak.
So how did you improve your grammar then? Because we're talking about communication.
Um, I mean, that's something that was embedded in me at home.
Okay.
Um, I mean, well, our upbringing. I came up in a home where they were very serious about the English language,
Mhm.
and it could be due to their, like, um, their British influence.
All right, well, explain that a little more because this is
Okay, so
they don't know you, Auntie.
I am Jalan's paternal aunt, and we are Guyanese. His grandparents basically were born in British Guiana. So there is a lot of British influence on the entire country and culture,
Mhm.
and including the way that they speak. And the words that they would use just in a regular conversation is not the words that, like we just use out in the street in America.
Mm.
So, yeah.
That's actually pretty cool that you actually went there because I think about like so many people that come from another country and they come here and they have to actually work on their communication because like they don't speak the same, like the
hmm
slang and everything like that was very different. So did your parents have like, do you remember if them having a difficulty because of the communication that made you want to be more serious in it, or they were already good? I know you said British. I had never been to Guyana, so
hmm
I don't even know. You gotta.
Well, no, I mean, my experience.
Mm,
Okay, we talk about code switching, right? Are you
Okay.
familiar with code switching?
Cool. But I'm not explaining. You gotta explain it. You gotta.
Um,
This is so. Just to let you know. So basically, what I try to do here is explain everything,
mhm.
just in case nobody knows. I know exactly what code switching is, but the audience might not know. They might like, what is that? You know. So
Okay.
yeah.
Well, code switching is being able, like you and I can have a conversation. We're going to speak regularly. I may be able to use a couple of slang words. I might use some words that, like you may know, but someone else may not know. So code switching is when you like basically get into a different environment, you change up the way that you speak, right? It could be the way that you speak. It could be the way that you carry yourself, but you kind of switch that up.
So like me, for example, I'm like, yo, 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 when I get to work. Good morning.
Exactly.
Okay, gotcha.
Right?
Yeah.
So, take for instance, I know like I can definitely remember my dad, if he had to speak on the phone, say with anyone who might have been quote unquote official,
Mm-hmm.
the bank, a lawyer,
Yeah.
his entire voice would change and it'd be like a
Mm.
hello,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Wow.
versus like, hey, what's up?
Okay.
Right? So, yes, my name is
Wow.
right. It just became this whole like different, and it was everything. The way that like his shoulders would raise, the way that he would, the cadence. I'm so sorry, the cadence in his voice and so forth. So those kind of things, like where it was very important that they spoke a certain way to certain people, and I think that because of that experience, when it came to me, especially. I could not, the way that I spoke in school, I could not come home and speak the same way. So if we were using slang in school, I could not come home. If I said anything and just throwing stuff, I might be aging myself. But I'm also from New York, so from Brooklyn. So
I let them know I'm from Brooklyn too.
yes, but it's a completely different, so I couldn't come in and talk about like, I'm mad hungry. I couldn't come in to the house and say anything like that. Like they'll watch me like, what do you?
Yeah.
So code switching was throughout. And it was important that I knew how to speak to people.
Yeah.
And so they put that in me.
Yeah. It's funny that you say that because, so her father's my grandfather. So it's funny you say that. I remember every time I finished my food, I said, I'm done. He said, it's not done. It's finished. I said, okay, all right.
But yeah, simple things like that, because I mean, that's how they were taught.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's a lot of things, with that, but I don't mind it. I don't mind it at all. I'm actually very grateful for it.
Okay. Okay. So we're talking about that code switching. So do you agree with code switching, or do you think people should be a certain way every single place?
It's a very good question. I think that code switching is.
I can expand on it. So for me, it's like you go into like a certain environment, you're around people that are not like you. The ethnicity is different. And I use like you're trying to be like all this, and it's like when you're around your people, you were kind of just kind of like free. It's like why can't you be yourself in front of different?
So I think this has become something deeper, right?
Oh boy.
Because I think that we're talking about the art of communication, right? And the lost art of communication.
Yes.
I believe that as time has progressed, we've not only lost the art of communication, we've also lost the art of like just having like giving an impression, right? As far as just being able to present yourself a certain way. So if I'm going on an interview, I can't be in my interview slouched over and like, yeah, what up? I can't do that.
Yeah.
But there's some people who do, And so as far as code switching, I don't think it's the worst thing ever.
Yeah.
And I think that you should be in a place like where you feel relaxed and we can speak any way that we want to. And especially when you're coming from, like whether it be culturally, geographically, people speak a certain way, just, like amongst their peers. But I think that I don't have a problem with, just kind of knowing that there's something different.
Okay, I like where you went with it. I'm gonna go a little different talking about code switching, but I also think code switching is beneficial when thinking about like your personality as well. So thinking about being an introvert, right? And let's say you are a business owner, you're
Mm-hmm.
trying to blow your business up, like let people know about it. Instead of just being online, I think it's important to go to like networking events to let the world know
Mm-hmm.
what you're doing. But if you're an introvert and you are a little shy when you go to these places, I feel like it's a good code shift to be not you in that environment just to kind of get your goal, accomplished.
I don't know about the not you
Okay.
piece.
Okay.
I'm really, really big on being integral. I believe that you should be like your authentic self.
Mhm.
So if it is that you're working on being more outwardly communicative,
Yes.
right? It's something that, like it's a skill and it's something that you'll probably have to work on. And if that means that you do things, like you take baby steps and you're talking about like going to a networking event, you might want to take some time to, soak it in, see what like the pattern is. Are people just walking up and, like shaking hands?
Yeah.
Or is it more of a, like a what's up with, like who you here with? Or, like whatever the case is. But you might want to take that opportunity to, in my opinion, you might want to take that opportunity to just kind of like soak things in, observe. There's nothing wrong with observing. There's nothing wrong with saying, okay, that's not me, but maybe I can do this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because sometimes I think people go out and you're just like, you're not reading the room. And I think that's pretty important.
Yeah.
And if you're an introvert, especially because you want to find like your groove, you want to find your niche, and you just kind of, scope it out first and then say, like, okay, maybe I could slip right in here. And if that means that at this event you spoke to one person, that's a hurdle that you went over.
Yeah.
And maybe the next event you spoke to two people, and it's like, woo,
Yeah.
like you're getting a hang of it. But I mean, sometimes, like it'll be a process. But I think that it's very important to not be something that you're not and just, be authentic.
Yeah. No, I like that because I went to a networking event. Was it last year in New
Was it
York?
last year?
I think it was last year. Yeah, so I went to a networking event and it was
Yeah, I think
they had a
last
few
year.
different podcasts there
Mm-hmm.
and it was a bunch of people. And I can talk in front of camera all day long, but for some reason when I'm out in front of people, like it's kind of nerving. It's nervous. I'm nervous. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So it was one part of it because I know like when I go to events like this, I have to talk to people. I already have that in my mind. And I want to make sure when they ask questions, like I'm making sure I ask a question to make sure I'm out there. So it was
Mm-hmm.
one part of it where I don't even know I think they just select three people and I just rose my hand. I said, I don't know what I'm talking about, but I'm raising my hand.
Mm-hmm.
And no, yeah, it was a question. So I answered a question, whatever it was, and then introduced who I am. And I said, my name is Jelan, got a podcast. And I was just so nervous, like talking to people, but like I do this all the time. So
Mm-hmm.
I think what it is like how you said, like do it slowly. I think it is baby steps.
Mm-hmm.
So when you go to networking events, what you have to realize is that people are coming here to meet people. You know what I mean? So it's like they're not coming there not to meet people. And if you're an introvert, there's someone out there as well as an introvert.
Right.
So kind of what I was doing, I'm not going to the crowd of four people and saying, "Hey, my name is." I'm not doing all of that. I
Right.
see somebody just sitting by themselves, and they're like, "That's an introvert. I got you." I go
Mm-hmm.
up to them, "Hey," it is like it makes you feel like you're like more outgoing than that person, but they're like y'all probably on the same thing. But it's like I already had in my mind, I know I have to meet a certain amount of people here. So
But you also made the decision to go there, and you knew that was something that you needed to do.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
I think that's an important step as well.
Mhm.
Like we're talking about taking baby steps. Like I'm pretty sure that wasn't the first networking event you ever heard of.
Yeah, no, you're right. Definitely not.
So
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like you might have had an opportunity maybe before, maybe there was one locally or like whatever the case is.
yeah,
But you said, no, I'm going to go to this one and I'm going to try this out. So
yeah.
like you made that decision. I think that's pretty important.
Yeah, yeah, because it is baby steps. I'm actually reading a book called The Art of Small Talk,
Hmm.
where it's basically explaining how you can do it in your everyday life. So basically, small talk, nobody likes small talk. Nobody's like, oh, well, how's the weather? How's this? Nobody likes
Right.
that, right? Do you like it?
Um, not no. I don't.
Okay.
I
So,
don't.
so the book is talking about like the importance of it because we are now in a spot where we just passed COVID, where you don't want to talk to nobody, which was like which was honestly crazy because I didn't want to talk to nobody in the store. Like usually, like as I talk to people, I was like, I kept my distance, I had a mask on. I remember when I first went to a store, you could hear a pin drop in there, how quiet it was. I was just like, what was your experiences with COVID and talking to
Oh,
people?
man. COVID was a hard time. I just, COVID was a hard time because everything that, you were pretty much accustomed doing,
Yeah.
you couldn't do anymore.
Hmm.
And also, COVID made it pinpointed things in people. Like, there's some people who literally have like a social battery. Like, it's important for them to be social,
Yeah.
and they were like losing it a little bit. There are people who really enjoyed just being inside and not having to communicate at all
Yeah.
and didn't want to come outside. I learned that about one of my friends that just didn't come outside for about 2 years.
Wow. Hmm.
Like made it where they, you know, did everything at the crack of dawn and or like late at night so that
Yeah.
they wouldn't have to like mess with people. Me on the other hand, I needed I needed a conversation. I needed to see like it was important to just have that. So I took advantage at any point that I could get.
Hmm.
But
So
I feel like COVID definitely changed our communication pattern, like the world's communication pattern.
yeah, because I think even if people were like, do you consider yourself an extrovert?
I don't consider myself an extrovert,
Okay.
but
Okay.
I'm not a complete introvert.
Introvert. Okay. Okay. I think what it did, I think it made like the person that was like on a teeter totter of between introvert extrovert is like we're inside, I'm going to the introvert. And it's like people are, I guess they kind of forgot how to talk to people because it's like I'm so used to not talking to people now. It's like now we have to actually communicate. It's like we're lost. I think about people dropping off the DoorDash stuff or like
Hmm.
I remember doing the Walmart pickup. Don't judge me. Walmart pickup is good. You don't gotta do nothing. But it's like don't get out your car. You know what I mean? It's just like and now people just don't want to talk and it's just so natural. I remember me and Sharnay went to where do we go? Just some smoothie shop, right?
Hmm.
So we're in there, we ordered the smoothie stuff. She put it in. We're sitting there and just standing there. We're just taking pictures, just chilling. And they have the to-go orders, right? She put in to-go orders there. So we're sitting there. I'm like, man, it's taking a long time. And she's like, it's just her, but it's taking us a long time. And I'm like, hey, what's the update on the drinks? She said, oh, they're sitting right there. And I said, are you kidding me? I mean, we've been sitting here this whole time. You didn't tell like we're thinking that's the to-go orders. You didn't even
Hmm.
tell us they're here. And I was just like,
Hmm.
that's just like the lost thing of communication. It's just like you're only it's only us three in here.
And just the simple communication,
Yeah.
right?
Or even
Like,
just wave us down or something. It's just like that was crazy. So
yeah,
yeah.
it makes it, I think that COVID definitely just kind of put us in a space
Mhm.
of you don't need anyone.
Yeah.
And people kind of just like ruled on that.
Yeah.
And I mean, and then with the just advancements of technology, you can now, do everything without leaving your home. You don't have to speak to people.
Yeah.
And a lot of people just, kept up with that.
Yeah, yeah, and basically what the book was saying is like how important it is because like being able to talk to somebody, like express yourself, it raises. I don't know if it's at endorphins or something like that. I don't remember. I didn't write it down, but pretty much it raises that, and it's like we need that. And then one of the practices that it was saying is that you will find basically to practice your small talk, try to find people to talk to randomly that you don't know. So you're going into a grocery store and you're looking for people to talk to. So usually what I don't do it too often anymore because I'm a married man, but um
Hey.
but basically what I'll do is like I'm just walking around, looking at people in their face smiling and stuff. When you see somebody smiling or like y'all are in a spot together, just ask a random question or give a compliment. And basically you can start a conversation off like that. So like
Hmm.
for example, us sitting here, I see a watch. Like, oh, that's a cool watch. What kind of watch is that? And then you'll answer.
Right. Oh, it's an Apple Watch.
Okay. Oh, wow. I
Nice
always
one.
wanted to get an Apple Watch. Is it like helping you with a certain thing?
It does. It monitors my steps.
Really? How many steps you
Hmm.
usually take?
Not enough.
Not enough. Okay. So something like that will be ended the conversation, but it's like we just had a whole conversation. If we didn't know each other, we could have talked about that could have went into working out, that could have went into so many different things, but you're
Hmm.
just practicing it. So now when you're at those networking events, you have the practice of talking to strangers and realizing that they're regular people. You
Yeah.
know, like even today I met this guy, Calvin Gaines. He has like 4 million followers, and it's like I just went up to him and started talking. You know what I mean? It's like,
Hmm.
so it wasn't even awkward, but just having that practice of talking to random people.
That works. I mean, I think I speak to random people regularly.
Okay.
I don't always initiate, but for some reason, um, people speak to me.
Speak to you.
Yeah,
I have a question about that. So you live in Brooklyn,
I
right?
do.
New York. New York
Hmm.
people. I'm from New York, but I lived in North Carolina. I've heard y'all are mean up there.
Lon, we are not mean. We are
The, au-
not.
the,
We are not mean.
the audience feels like that way. Why do people feel like people in New York are mean?
I don't think that. I don't. Well, okay. Yes, that is something that people say.
Yes.
I think what it is that we just have a lot of people and a lot of people doing a lot of things, and we got to get to where we need to go, and we just keep it moving. Um, I think you're gonna find mean people anywhere, but I mean, for the most part, maybe we don't really care about it that much. Maybe that's
Probably
what it is.
so.
I don't know.
Probably so. I remember I got off the train. I saw some man just walking down, and I'm like used to saying hello to people. Say, hey, what's up? And then he just kept walking straight. I'm just like,
Because we got things to do. But I mean, yes, down south, people are definitely far more talkative
hmm
with
but
strangers.
I think that would be kind of a hard thing thinking about like that person that's like an introvert going to a networking event. I just feel like everybody in New York's personality is like the same.
You feel what?
Listen,
Are you saying this on purpose?
I'm just, you have to put some
Again,
silly stuff in here.
you trying to get me riled up on this podcast?
Listen, you gotta say silly stuff on here sometimes. So I'll
I
just throwing that
understand.
out there.
But I mean, but let's use that for instance.
Okay.
Like you came to New York for
Yes.
that podcast and knew
Yes.
that this would be that
Mm,
not this, but knew that that would be the place where you
that's
can test your communication
wow.
skills.
That's yeah, and yeah, you're right. I didn't think about
So,
that. Man,
yeah.
people are just regular. Like I was like talking to a lot of people. Yeah.
And I think that's maybe surprising to some people, but I mean, give people the opportunity. They're talking a lot. I was about to say talking you to death, but they're talking to you a great deal.
Yeah, and I think that's like the dangerous thing about going up and talking to random people because you're gonna
Hmm.
meet the right one and you're gonna be stuck in like, all right, yeah, yeah. I remember when I was doing my book business, I was always talking to people in there because I'm over here scanning books. I'm always finding somebody to talk to,
Hmm.
and this lady was just going off. She would say, "Man, I wish you was in my house. They are so mean over there." I said, "All right, lady, this is too much." But yeah, this is definitely a lot. Going more deeper into that, I know I introduced you as an expert, but we didn't really talk about what you actually do on a day to day. So, what do you actually do on a day to day?
Okay. First off, I'm a licensed social worker. I work in foster care. I do facilitation, which basically means I facilitate conferences. Um, I speak to people in regards to their case. I speak to them in regards to basically what's going on with them, their wants and needs in regards to their family. And we try to come up with an action plan to achieve what's supposed to be, basically what's supposed to be happening
hmm So your
in a
communication needs
nutshell.
to be on point to definitely be able to express because this is their livelihood they're basically talking about here.
Not their livelihood, their life,
Their
you know what I
life.
mean, or their kids, their family life. So it's very important that I communicate well. And sometimes I think I am, and sometimes I'm great at it.
Yeah.
And sometimes I might say something that would trigger someone. Sometimes I think that I'm being, um, how to say it? I think that I am appealing to you, and I'm so not. Like it, like it could just go left.
Wow.
So it's it's, it's trying sometimes, but I feel good doing it because I think that I'm able to get through to more than, I don't like to use the word fail, but like more, there are more highs than lows.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like anytime you're doing anything, you got to realize that you're not going to win at everything. You know what I mean? Like
Exactly.
everybody's been losing at stuff. So I think if you're winning more than you're losing, it's fine because you can't. Not, it's impossible to try to help every single person.
Right.
But you can definitely. I wouldn't say don't try. Don't be like I ain't gonna win this one, so don't do it. Definitely.
No, I mean, and sometimes like I can leave a conference and say like, all right, like, that went well.
Yeah.
Um, Sometimes it's really just like mediocre. We just hit the points and kept it moving.
Yeah.
Um, and then sometimes it's like, I wish that I had said XYZ, or perhaps if I had asked this question, that might have, but it's an art. It's like we said, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose.
Yeah.
So
So how your communication improved not only in the work, but like in your regular life? Because you're having so many conversations with different people and you're like, man, I could have done this different, I could have done that different. And I know you have to use that in your everyday regular communication as well.
yes, what what my work has taught me to do in my life, I should say, what I have worked on professionally and that has affected my life is listening.
Hmm.
Listening is so important. It is so important to allow, a lot of times we're looking to reply versus looking to understand.
Hmm.
And that's something that, like I think you've probably heard that mentioned before, or maybe other people have heard it mentioned, but it's so serious because in a conversation, you can be telling me a full story, but there's like a story behind another story.
Yeah.
And it's important that I'm able to, like pull that out and just kind of give you the opportunity to express everything that you need to express. I grasp as much as I'm able to grasp. And, like if there's something that we got to do with it, then let's do that. But just the art of listening, I think, is amazing.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, yeah. Listening is very important. We actually have an episode where we talked about listening that you can watch right here. You gotta plug it. You gotta plug it. Yeah, yeah. No, I agree. Listening is very important because it's not about you. I think what I've learned in reading the book and also just communicating with people, people love to talk about themselves. So
Hmm.
if you're yabbing, they're not going to be in that conversation. They don't want to hear you talk about nothing. So if you asking the right questions about them or stuff they're interested in, they're gonna talk all day and you don't even gotta talk. So that's like a kind of little tip there. If you are an introvert and you don't like talking, ask the right questions that's gonna have that person talking for hours,
Yeah.
basically.
But also, in listening, I think that you take the opportunity to actually gain something.
Hmm.
Like we can have conversation all day. We can just talk like, slap black. Like slap
Like
you
what?
talk.
Slap? What did you say? Slap black? What?
What I mean to say is just like, like a snapback. Like
Oh,
you
okay.
say
Got it. Got
something,
it.
I
Got
say
it.
something, like,
Yeah.
like we're just going back and forth. But I think actually allowing you to, like expound on what you're saying and like just hearing you out.
Yeah.
Like then we all like give nuggets sometimes and we don't even realize.
Yeah.
So it's important that, I just like stick in there and just try to grasp something.
Yeah. Because basically, what I've learned on this podcast is that, like, listening is that I might have a list of 10 questions, right? I can't just go, okay, where are you from? All right, where's your parents from? Where do you work? I can't do that. So, like, I might say where you're from. You're saying Guyana. Now I can ask you questions about Guyana or like what I like to do is put myself into it as well. So
Hmm.
I'm Guyanese as well, but I like there,
Right.
if I wasn't, I would say, oh, my family is from blah blah blah. And you can have a whole another conversation like that. That makes the conversation longer, but you have to listen to know what's next. You can't just think of I want to talk about the job next. You want to kind of slowly get to there.
Right. And a lot of times, like if you go into a conversation with your own agenda, you'll lose.
Yeah. Yeah.
because you're busy trying to hit your points and missing everything that's coming in between.
Yeah.
And that's normally where like the gift is, all
Yeah.
in between.
Yeah, no, no, it's definitely you definitely want to kind of like make the person comfortable because when you have like a idea where you want to go, you can't just come in there like that. Let's say,
Right.
for example, I'm calling you to say I need $100. I'm not calling you to say, hey, I need $100. How's your day? How's it? Okay, all right, yeah.
Yeah.
And then you finally go into it. How you
Hmm.
doing? Well, you know what, man, my tire, this, actually,
Hmm.
but you gotta kind of like ease into it.
Well, yeah, so like what we spoke about earlier in regards to like just kind of reading the room,
Yeah.
and that's a broad statement. But, like having a conversation with someone and then kind of seeing where they are. Let's just say like you're talking about $100 and I say to you, like,
I do need $100. Yep. I brought you on the podcast just to give you $100.
yeah, but I could also like tell you like in the process of us having a conversation, man, I need these tires. And right now my refrigerator broke. And like if you're just focused on what you're there to say, then you're
Yeah.
gonna come in with so you got $100 for me. And I'm like, you didn't hear what I said. So yeah, it's important.
But I think you also would have like when you're talking, there's a lot of I mean, when you communicate, there's a lot of thinking as well. So when you hear somebody says like any bad news like that, like, oh, my tires this, you got to come up with something to let them know you don't got it without saying it. It's like, yeah, what? My lights just, yeah, just figure out something because yeah, it's funny. But you did talk about a good point that I want to kind of transition. Were you good on there for a transition? Were you good on
Okay.
everything? Okay, good.
Hmm.
Just making sure I'm listening. I'm listening.
Good job.
But a good thing that you said, I don't the way you explained it, you said snap back. What was that? A snap.
Yeah.
I just teased you. I just teased you. But that was a good point because I think that's why a lot of people have arguments is because instead of listening, they are ready to do the snapback. So you have a
Hmm.
conversation about why you were late for something like that, and you're talking about it, and you say, "But that's why you were late," and it's like you just quickly. I don't think that's a good example, but you're quickly ready to
Hmm.
go at somebody instead of listening. If you listen to someone, I think that can avoid a lot of arguments.
I think that we've heard arguments like that in our day. It's like just where, but you missed the point
Yeah.
where they said XYZ. And, like, because things could just be squashed.
Yeah, a lot.
And because that person is literally only listening to themselves and not like grasping what the other person is saying, then you have this argument and it's unnecessary. So, yeah, that happens a lot.
Do you think it's the personality of the person, or you just think it's just not listening in general?
Could be a combination of both.
Yeah, some people are just hard headed, and they always
Yeah.
right.
I mean, there are people, like you mentioned before, like being in your head. And I think that we've all been guilty of that at some point, where like you'll enter a room and before you even enter that room, you're already like, oh, this is going to be a rough one
Yeah,
because
yeah,
this person this, that person that.
yeah,
The space is too small. You have everything else in your head
yeah,
and you go in with that.
yeah. No, I thought about something. So it was like you I guess I don't know, say like work or something like that. Let's just say you somebody like somebody that you work with is always like a pain in you, right? And you said, "Man, if she talked to me today, I'm going off on her."
Hmm.
And then she come and you try to give you a compliment. You said, "You know what?" It's like you weren't even listening. You just go off on the lady. So I think that's like very, very. I think that's probably really important. I think that's what communicator helps with. It helps with to avoid arguments. It helps with like empathy of when somebody's going through something, and also be able for you to get ahead in life because you want, you're kind of being a communicator to get exactly what you want.
Yeah. But I think that also like where we talk about the communication, I think there's also like filtering, right? Because we can have this communication. I'll give you an example. One of my first jobs, my supervisor was not known to be, uh, she wasn't known to get along with everyone, put it that way. And everyone, when they heard who my supervisor was like, oh my God, and everyone had something to say in regards to her. It was one of my first jobs, and I couldn't go in with all of what they were saying in mind. because I was there to do a job. I wanted to keep this job. It was important to me. So I just went in there and did my job. She liked that. She liked the fact that I wasn't, like on a chitter chatter or, just she asked me to do something, I did it. Yeah. She realized that my work ethic was decent and it was like, okay, let's do this. And I gained so much from that job. It was, I was basically there, like, used to be there like every summer, but it was, she put me in spaces that, as someone who was just coming in for the summer, I didn't have to be. And I appreciated that. And I think that was also just due to filtering out information because I can communicate with people all day long and they can tell me all the negative things in the world. Yeah. But I don't have to take in all of that or act on those things. And it was just a matter of, let me just go do what I have to do.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's funny you said that. I'm kind of gonna switch to what you said, but it's funny how you said like, people can say all the negative things in the world. Reading the book, they were saying that's actually another way to kind of start conversation with somebody who's complaining.
Okay.
Yeah, which is kind of, I don't agree with that, but that's
Well, what are you supposed to do with that complaining?
so. Let's say, for example, you're in a long grocery line, right? And then like you're like, man, this line is so long, man. I'm tired of this. And then like now you're talking to somebody else that's complaining as well. So like misery loves company.
Oh,
So
yeah.
yeah, so you're basically complaining, and now I wouldn't do it like that because I don't want to start a conversation about complaining. I think it's hard to move a complaining conversation into a regular conversation because that's a lot.
Yeah, no. Again, I'm about being integral.
Yeah.
I cannot, if something is not where I want it to be, or if it's not a positive conversation, yeah, no. I'm not, misery they could have company someplace else. I can't.
It's crazy, right? When I had Coco, Coco was my parents' dog. It used to be my dog. They took
He was a single dad.
But I always used to take it to the dog park, and always that's I was talking to people there. That's another gem. If you want to practice talking to people
Walk
with
your
a
dog.
dog, with a dog. No, no,
Walk
you
your
honestly
dog.
you don't even need a dog. You see somebody with a dog, oh, what's their name? Like I was in a habit of asking what their dog's name was. I never asked them what their name was. Because people love talking about their dogs, they love talking about their children, they love talking about stuff like that. So that's the easy way. But yeah, I was in the dog park just talking to different people. They go, what's your dog's name? He said, Misery. I said, Misery. I said, what? I said, why do you call it? Why is it Misery? He always looks sad. And I said, let me get out of here because
Yeah, no.
so you don't have to be able to talk to everybody. I think that's the thing about communication as well. I think we got to a space where we don't want to talk to nobody, but it's gonna be people out there, and I think it's so important to build a community. I always talk about that on this podcast, build a community, great friends, create relationships, and I think it always starts with like communicating and finding people like you.
Yeah. I mean, again, you just take those baby steps in
Hmm.
doing so because that's not easy for everyone.
Why was it not easy? What do you think?
No, I mean, like some people's personalities are not
Mm.
just like that,
Yeah,
where they're, like they can find it easy to speak to people.
yeah, yeah. Have you had like the same friends you had always, or have you like do you always are you easy? Is it easy for you to make friends?
It is easy for me to meet people.
Okay.
Um, I take the title of friend
Oh boy.
very seriously.
Oh boy.
So, yes, I have had my eldest friend I've had since I was 5.
What?
My other friends, maybe about like 10, the age of 10.
Mm.
I've met other people along the way who, like I love dearly, but if I consider you a friend, then like you can't leave me.
Wow.
I've lost one friend like my entire life, like with like, someone like we fell out.
Yeah.
And that's not even like any love lost. Like, I mean, I wish her the absolute best.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's about it. Like most of my friends who I've had, we maintain.
Hmm.
If I considered you like friend,
Yeah. I think for me, I think it's hard for me to make friends.
why so?
I don't know. I think I'm just like be super busy. I think I'm like just so into like creating these videos and stuff like that. I
Hmm.
really don't go out to meet people.
And have you had friends before? Like,
high school, college. That's pretty much it. That was because like just the environment you're in. But I think now, like once you're an adult, like we get so busy with our regular life, is that
Yeah.
we don't.
I think it's important that, like you just check in on somebody. Like if someone means something to you, or if they have if they've had like any meaning in your life at any point,
Yeah.
like I think it's very important if you think of someone to just like send that text
Yeah.
or make that phone call because you never know what they're going through. And I have another friend who says things like if someone invites him somewhere and it's like, would I go to the funeral? You'll make your you'll make all the arrangements to like show your respects,
Yeah.
but you won't do it like in life.
Yeah.
So I think that's something important to just think about.
That's crazy. So they asked, would they go to the future? That's what?
Yeah. Like, are you willing, if you're willing to make time
Yeah.
for someone, if you're willing to make time to go to their funeral,
Yeah.
you can make time for them,
To
like,
go there.
to just be there in life.
Mm, that's crazy to think about.
It makes you think though, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to be
But
trying
it's
to
just
go.
saying, it doesn't take much. Like, just, are you good?
Yeah.
Thought about you,
I
whatever.
like calling people. I think
That's a great.
I'm not the texting person. I think that's
Okay.
why I even want to talk about this because I love like we're sitting here talking. I just
Mm-hmm.
love communicating that way. Like I don't like just the text, and I don't think you get the emotions
Yeah.
out of text. Like
Agreed.
you can say like I don't know.
Agreed. But then you have to make the time to meet up with that person so that you're able to do this. So,
All right, well that's what we're gonna do, guys. Because I think every time I do an episode, like I kind of like push myself to do something. So
mm-hmm.
that's what I'm gonna do, this guys. Well, right now we like Thanksgiving breaks. I'm not going outside right now, but I think next week. I think next week if I'm invited anywhere, or I can invite somebody somewhere too.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm gonna
And
do
it could
that.
be simple things.
Yeah,
I mean, you're big on working out.
yeah,
Maybe that's something that, like if someone has a similar interest, you can do that.
do that. Yeah, work out with
Just
somebody.
throwing that out there.
Yeah, okay. I think we're pretty much close to the end. You had anything else you want to talk about?
Um, I don't think so.
Oh, I have
I
one more
think
point. I just thought about it. One more
okay.
point. So one of the other things about the book, 'cause I kind of like just pushed the book in here. But one of the things they were saying that's easy. I know you already don't agree with this. They were saying when you try to talk to people, they want you to lie. How you feel about that? I'll talk about mine real quick. I think I agree with it because if you're out going, because we're all talking about practice, this is just practice your communication skills. When you're out in the streets, in a grocery store, and you find someone that's looking at you that you want to start a conversation with, you kind of have to practice of being on your feet because once that person passes you, you're not going to have the opportunity to have that conversation again. So you can just say anything. I like your shoes, even though you don't like it, or you're in a grocery store and you see somebody pick up something. Oh, I always want to try that and like kind of start it. So it's like what do they call it? The little white lies, but it's just like to help you with practicing your communication.
I don't think you have to lie to anyone
Okay.
to start a conversation. I think if you notice something on them, like I think someone made the joke like black people will call you out for anything. Like someone will walk by in a polka dot just like, come on, polka dots,
Yeah. Yeah.
But it doesn't have to be, you didn't say like I like your polka dots. It's just, like you
You
made
kind of did.
mention.
That's what it means.
No, I just said come on, polka dots. I didn't say I like your polka dots.
But that's the same thing
It's
though.
not. I said, come on, polka dots. You coming on anyway.
So can you be like, come on, big back?
If somebody said that to me, I'd be, yeah, it'd be problematic.
That wasn't bad.
But no, I'm just saying that, I don't think that you should like just approach anybody with a lie. You can figure out something else
I
to
think
say.
well you can't though because it's like a millisecond. Like I think when I was like out here in these streets, right? I'm married guys. When I was out here in these streets, if you see someone attractive, it's like the minute you make eye contact, you have to think of something on
And
you.
if you met me in the street and you were interested and you started with a
I wouldn't start with a
lie,
lie, but what I'm saying is that the practice on the people that you're not interested. That's the thing because now you're more natural of thinking of different things to say. So now when you're in a networking
But why
event
can't it
or
be a
looking,
truthful thing to say? That's my thing. I just feel I'm trying to be anti-lie.
but it's not a bad, it's not a big bold faced lie.
It's still a lie. That's like I didn't steal a big TV. I just stole a small something. You still stole.
I guess for me, like I love watching comedians and they lie. Or
Okay.
if it's not a lie, it's an exaggeration. Like even me when I
Okay.
make jokes, I exaggerate.
Hmm.
So I think exaggeration is lying,
Not if like someone knows the intention,
but they
but I
don't.
just don't believe that you have to start with a lie. That's just me.
Okay.
If you want to be out here lying, do what you do.
I just think it's
Just don't lie to me.
I just think is that your goal is to build a business or to get out of your comfort zone. I guess I don't know. I don't know. I think you just have to know how to lie the right way. Don't overdo it because I don't want you to get in a habit of lying and now you meet somebody you like and you lying, it ain't gonna work out. But
Lying. That's like don't smoke a lot of crack. Just just take a little crack. A little crack won't hurt you. No.
okay, all right. That's the end of the podcast right there, boy. Yeah, any any other topics you can think about?
I think anything is possible. If you're looking to be a great communicator, you can be a great communicator. If it takes a little bit more time, it takes a little bit more time, but you can do it.
Okay, and how was this experience?
This experience, interesting.
Okay, it was interesting. BB, come on now. You gotta talk.
It was interesting because I don't believe that I looked at the camera as much as I needed to look at the
Okay.
camera, but I'm very comfortable speaking to you, so I'd
Okay.
much rather do that.
Okay.
Um, and I don't know what I sound like, so
You don't just you used to have a voicemail. Yeah.
in 1994, like as I don't know what I look like on this thing.
You look the same way you look in the mirror.
It's just a lot, Lon.
Okay.
It's just a lot.
Okay. Would you do it again? Not with me, with someone else.
Um, I would do it again and
Okay.
hopefully feel a little bit more comfortable. This is
Okay.
my first time,
Okay.
so
Okay. I definitely appreciate it. It was a lot of fun. Definitely having a different conversation because honestly, you said I wasn't interviewing people no more, but we just had a really good conversation about this topic, and I said let's record it. Me, if it's anytime I can make content, I'm gonna make content. So I just don't take the camera in the bathroom. People that do that is weird.
I agree. And I don't need to see you crying on camera either.
Crying. Oh,
Yeah, like when people like get on and they're crying and stuff.
yeah. No, I'm not. I'm not doing
Yeah.
that.
I mean, if I
I
get you
think.
emotional, that's a different thing,
Yeah, I
but
think if you're crying, I think it has to be a honestly, you didn't know you was gonna cry
right,
or something like that.
right. But
Like
don't
don't.
come on crying.
Yeah.
I don't understand it.
It's like that's too much. But
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, I think that's it. Hopefully y'all enjoyed that episode. Hopefully this helped y'all. And if it did help y'all make sure y'all subscribe. Y'all make sure y'all hit the like button. Y'all leave a comment and say how she did. If you think she did really good and she needs to get her own show,
I
let
don't
her
think I
know.
need to get my own show.
Huh?
I don't think I need to get my own show.
I'm just over exaggerating.
I
See, that's
appreciate
that's
it.
the
See,
white
there
lies
you go
about the.
lying.
So my name is Jelan Abrams,
I'm DJ Abrams.
and this is Unknown and Talented. We out.